to form a line. White flag up, under orders. And they're away. And Waving Diamonds again jumps off very smartly and leads them, or disputes the lead with Sutton Prince and Glasgow Central and Sunley Bills as they come to the first. At the first, Sunley Bills lands in the lead from Waving Diamonds. The favourites right over on the right of the picture, the dark colours, Delius. Glasgow Central's right up with them, followed by Silmara. Just in behind Silmara is Connaught River with Cathy's Song. Back marker at the moment is Cavalier Saventi. And it's Sunley Bills who's taken a pretty strong hold from Sutton Prince and Glasgow Central. Glasgow Central, the grey going on marginally now from Sunley Bills. Then another grey Silmara. Then on the inside is Sutton Prince. Then Waving Diamonds and Destiny Bay and Cathy's Song. And Delius over on the far rail. And all safely over the first flight, swinging left-handed. Glasgow Central in the lead from Sunley Bills, a little between these two. Then Silmara. Behind Silmara is Sutton Prince, and then comes Destiny Bay and Waving Diamonds, and then Sasha's Song. Behind Sasha's Song on the outside is Buckhouse, then Connaught River, Delius on the rail, then Tarkogan's Choice. Cavalier Saventi is the back marker. Running downhill, Sunley Bills on the inside of Glasgow Central. These two setting a very fast gallop as they come down towards the next flight, and this will be the third. Sunley Bills on the inside of Glasgow Central. They jump it almost together. Glasgow Central, a slightly better jump. They're all safely over it. Cavalier Saventi didn't jump it too well though and lost a bit of ground. And it's Sunley Bills and Glasgow Central still from Silmara. Sutton Prince on the inside. On the outside is Destiny Bay. Then on the inside is Waving Diamonds being tracked by Delius, and then comes Golden Friend, and then also going strongly just in behind the leaders, Cardinal Flower, as they jump the fourth. Sunley Bills on the inside of Glasgow Central. Waving Diamonds, Sutton Prince. On the outside is Destiny Bay, then Silmara, then Golden Friend, then Delius. Just in behind Delius is Sasha's Song, and then Cardinal Flower. Buckhouse towards the outside. Tarkogan's Prince making ground at the fifth of the 8 flights. Sunley Bills landed in the lead there from still in second. Glasgow Central. Waving Diamonds third. Destiny Bay 4. 5 Golden Friend. 6 and 7 Delius and Buckhouse. Then just in behind them comes Seskin Bridge in the presidential colours, making quite significant progress. In behind them Cardinal Flower, John Frankham running down now towards the third last flight, and it's Sunley Bills from Glasgow Central. Waving Diamonds, Destiny Bay, Delius coming there strongly on the stand side. Seskin Bridge improving with Buckhouse also at the third last now. Sunley Bills lands in the lead from Delius on the inside, then Golden Friend, and it's Delius on the inside of Golden Friend. Sunley Bills just in behind them, Buckhouse and Glasgow Central, and Waving Diamonds and Seskin Bridge still making ground. This is the second last now. Delius on the inside, Sunley Bills, a mistake there by Golden Friend. Seskin Bridge is still making progress. Buckhouse is very much in contention, rounding the final flight now, and it's Sunley Bills from Buckhouse and the favourite Delius as they come down to the final flight, and Buckhouse for Ireland takes a marginal advantage. Buckhouse with his white face now, showing in the lead at the final flight from Sunley Bills and Delius and Golden Friend. Buckhouse lands in the lead, and it's Buckhouse from Golden Friend and Sunley Bills and Delius as they race into the closing stages. It's Buckhouse from Golden Friend. It looks like another for Ireland in the Waterford Crystal Supreme Novices Hurdle as Buckhouse strides up towards the line to win it from Golden Friend, and at the line Buckhouse is the winner. Golden Friend is second, and third was Sunley Bills, fourth Delius, and behind them came Seskin Bridge and Glasgow Central, and behind him Connaught River, and then Waving Diamonds, and looking right back to the back markers. Elrowan in fact finished last, only just shaded at the line by Cavalier Saventi, and so the result of the Waterford Crystal Supreme Novices Hurdle. First, number 2, Buckhouse, owned by Mrs. Seamus Purcell, trained by Mouse Morris in Ireland and written by Tommy Carmody. Second was number 12, Golden Friend, owned by Mrs. W. Johnson, trained by Homer Scott and ridden by Mr. Ted Walsh. And third was number 25, the long-time leader, Sunley Bills, owned by Bernard Sunley and Sons Limited, trained by Nick Gaisley and ridden by Steve Smith-Eccles. Fourth was the favourite, number 7, Delius. So number 7 in a row for Ireland in this Waterford Crystal Supreme Novices Hurdle, the opener of the 1983 festival. Here is Buckhouse, and here's how he won it as we review it with Richard Pittman.
And it had been a fair gallop after the initial slow stage going to the first. Coming round the last bend, you can see Sunley Build still in front. He'd been there right from the outset. Buckhouse is with him. This horse, I said, that wasn't very big, but Mouse said his engine was big enough, and certainly it was. There's Delius on the rails with the pom-pom on his hat. He'd had every chance but came under strong pressure, and Golden Friend looks to be the danger now, looming up in the blue colours on the outside. You can see that Delius is really having nothing to offer now, slightly disappointing, but this little Buckhouse, who's not been out of the first two all season in his 8 runs, powering up the hill. Tommy Carmody making a triumphant return to Cheltenham, of course, where he rode so many winners when riding for the Dickinsons, and there's going to be no danger from here on in. So Irish take first and second place here. Well, 7 in a row, as Peter told you. They're certainly making this race their own.
Yes, what an amazing sequence. Sustained by this remarkably consistent, game little fella by Royal Buck, out of Slave-D by Arctic Slave, the 8-to-1 winner of the opener. Second foal of his dam, who herself never actually saw a race course.
2 lengths and 1.5 lengths.
And the distance is 2 lengths and 1.5 lengths. He hasn't been out of the first 2 in his last 7 outings. He's going to make Ballinacarra Lad a very popular fancy for Ireland tomorrow, having been beaten by him in the Red Mills Trial Hurdle at Goran Park in February. A great comeback for Tommy Carmody. For some while, the Dickinson stable jockey.
We have the starting prices for the first race.
So one of those
Buckhouse at
rare reverses for the Michael Dickinson stable at this Supreme Festival, where races are so hard to win.
33-1. Number 7, Delius, was the 6-4 favourite.
Mouse Morris, the successful trainer, of course, a very successful rider in his time, both amateur and professional. And the starting prices as follows.
First, number 2, Buckhouse, 8-1. Second, number 12, Golden Friend, 15-1. And third, number 25, Sunley Bills, 33-1. First, Buckhouse, 8-1. Second, Golden Friend, 15-1. And third, Sunley Bills, 33-1. The jackpot number was 102.
Quite a severe reverse for the punters in the opener. Delius served up very, very hot indeed as the 6-4 favourite. Over 40 runners at the meeting, the Irish, although their hopes had a setback earlier this morning when, unhappily, it was found last evening, in fact, that Master Donovan, one of this afternoon's principal hopes for the visitors, was lame. He was poulticed last night, poulticed again this morning, seen by the blacksmith, and eventually, after much hard searching by Eddie O'Grady, he decided that although the horse was walking sound, in fairness to him, it would be better to withdraw him from this afternoon's test later in the day. Yes, and the white flag up there under orders and away, and Master Swordsman is the first to show. Master Swordsman for Ireland, and Tommy Carmody coming to the first of the 8 flights in the lead. Right up there on the outside is River Glow. Hills Pageant up with them too. And one of the Irish mixed blends jumped it in fact last. And so as they settle down and make their way towards the second, Redundant Pal has taken it up now, and there's a very, very high wind buffeting the runners, and you'll notice that Tony Mullins, who rides the heavily backed Clocktaney in the Waterford Crystal Champion Hurdle, has already lost his cap. It should be a red cap with yellow spots on it, but that's a skull cap, of course, that he's wearing only, and Redundant Pal lands in the lead from Master Swordsman and Hogmanay and Hills Pageant, and over the counter, and on the far side Tabito, and just in behind them is King of the Lot, and behind King of the Lot is Vagador on the rails, and then Belledale Star and Deep Treasure, and behind them is Away We Go, and then French Goblin, and still Mixed Blends, the back marker, as they run downhill. Redundant Pal by about 2 lengths from Hogmanay on the outside of Tabito in third, then Master Swordsman, King of the Lot. Then on the outside is Hills Pageant. Making good ground is Relecto on the inside, followed by Deep Treasure. Vagador still holding his place on the inside. French Goblin up there on the outer. And as they jump that one, still Reluctant Pal clear. King of the Lot very nearly unseated his rider there, but he's recovered well, but he hasn't recovered his arms, I don't think. Yes, he has. He's recovered them all right. And it's Reluctant Pal from King of the Lot, Tabito on the inside, then Master Swordsman, and then Relecto. And then Hills Pageant going up on the outside. Spot him with his yellow sleeves as they come down towards the next flight. Reluctant Pal with the advantage. Reluctant Pal lands in the lead from Redundant Pal from King of the Lot in second place. Then comes Master Swordsman with Relecto making ground on the inner. On the outer is Hills Pageant. Just in behind them Tabito, and then Deep Treasure, and then French Goblin. And Johnson's Glory is gone. Redundant Pal is still the leader, though, from King of the Lot in second. Third on the inside is Master Swordsman, then Hills Pageant, then Relecto, who made a mistake at that one. Deep Treasure comes next. And Away We Go is making quite good progress, but it's still Redundant Pal with the advantage. Hills Pageant has gone second. That's King of the Lot with the striped colours in third as they run downhill, and Hills Pageant making ground towards the outside with Deep Treasure also. Coming down now towards the second last flight in this Waterford Crystal Supreme Novices Hurdle, and Redundant Pal from Deep Treasure. Then Hills Pageant. Over on the far side is Belledale Star making good ground. Away We Go is still making progress. Belledale Star still well in the picture. Vagador's cruising towards the lead now, towards the inside. And it's Vagador who comes to take it up on the inside now as they race towards the second last flight. I call the last the second last. This is the second last. Vagador lands in the lead. Vagador it is now from Relecto in second. Away We Go third. Four then is Mixed Blends and Frank Berry. They're rounding the home turn with one to jump, and Vagador is clear, being chased by Relecto, and Mixed Blends still making ground, but it's Vagador from Mixed Blends who's now gone second. Relecto third at the final flight. Vagador lands in the lead. Mixed Blends putting in a tremendous challenge towards the near side though, and it's Mixed Blends and Frank Berry now on the near side. Over on the far side is Vagador. There's nothing between the two as they race up towards the line. Vagador is quickening away from Mixed Blends. It's Vagador from Mixed Blends as they race towards the line. Vagador is going to win it from Mixed Blends second, and Relecto will be third. Vagador is the winner. Mixed Blends is second. Vagador is third, and fourth. Away We Go. Behind them came Tabito and Belledale Star, and behind Belledale Star was God's Fox and Deep Treasure and Generally Right. They're finishing very tired, the stragglers, but my goodness, they raced up the hill, the two principals, and the result of the opening race at the 1988 National Hunt Festival, the Waterford Crystal Supreme Novices Hurdle. First, number 27, Vagador, owned by Miss Amanda Harwood, trained by her father Guy, who always credits Amanda with training this horse, and ridden by Mark Perrett, his Maintained a marvellous record over hurdles, this horse, as we see him come back. Second, put in a tremendous challenge. Approaching the last was number 28, Mixed Blends, owned by Londoner Mr. John Spearman, trained by Mouse Morris. Came from last in the early stages, this horse, to be second, ridden by Frank Berry. And third was number 25, Relecto, owned by Mrs. Gay Jarvis and Mrs. M. Sharkey Kelly, trained by Michael Jarvis and ridden by Stuart Shilston, with fourth, number 3, Away We Go. And tremendous applause here for this winner, Vagador, by Vaguely Noble out of Louisa Dore, who's made a tremendous impact on the hurdling scene, a 5-year-old. Here's how he won it as we review the closing stages.
Mark Perrott was always travelling very easily on Vagador. He's cruised through on the inside to take the lead at the second last, and Relecto, the other horse in the picture, being hard ridden by Stuart Shilston. Though Relecto did make a bad mistake, fall from home, and has done very well to finish third. The only danger to Vagador now is Mixed Blends. Away We Go, just in behind's run a good race, but Mixed Blends and Frank Berry throw down a tremendous challenge going to the last. As you can see, Mark Perrott still has his hands full on the right of the picture on Vagador. Asks him for a jump at the last, gets it, but so too does Frank Berry from Mixed Blends, and they've drawn away from Relecto now. And as they meet this famous Cheltenham Hill, Vagador, who'd been going very well all the way, now has to come under pressure, and with Mixed Blends running on well, Vagador's got to find a lot, and sure enough he does. Mark Perrott asks him the question. He lengthens his stride well. He comes very slightly to the right, but I think just as much the runner-up goes a little bit to the left, and Vagador finishes towards the stand side and Mixed Blend on the far side. But I'm sure the result wasn't affected. The stewards won't be interested in that. And Vagador, a very decisive winner, 4-1 favourite from Mixed Blends, who's run a fine race.
Vagador,
Yeah.
Canadian bred by Vaguely Noble out of Louisa Dore, by Indian Hemp.
Bramble again is 2-1, been steady there for a while. General Idea drifted out to 5s. Nordic Surprise 6, as is Destriero. 12's New Duds. Garcid at 14. 20 Gran Alba. Bound and Duty just coming in a few points now to 22. That's the Harwood horse. It's 25-1, bar those. In fact, the Guy Harwood horse, Bound and Duty, was the best turned out, and his lad Gary gets 100 quid from Trafalgar House for his efforts. What a shame that was a false start. It is only a single strand, and these horses are very tuned up for what's ahead of them. They certainly know what it's all about. There he is. There's the culprit, 19, just going through. 20 is Viceroy Jester, young Nicky Man, one of the youngest riders in the race. But it appears that they are coming into some sort of order now. Luthier, it is back to us, the light diamond. That's Trevor Painting's colours. He'll be here, but this horse, ex-French horse, must find a bit from his last 2 starts. Now 20 there was sweating in the paddock. That's Viceroy Jester, and he's doing so even more now. He certainly knows what he's here for. Looks a colty little devil, doesn't he? Nick Mann will be good enough if this horse is, but his form hasn't really shown it, although he's run creditably most of the season, and he was beaten 42 lengths by Bramble again. They're under orders. Let's go with Peter.
Yes, this looks like it, and they're away. Sabaki River, the first to show, bandaged over towards the right of the picture as you see them racing towards the first flight. Sabaki River, the leader. Book of Gold is right up there, and so is Garcid. Then just in behind them come Destriero. Wide of the others is Bound and Duty, with New Duds up there as well, and Sabaki River cutting out the pace, and quite a fast early pace too in this Trafalgar House Supreme Novices Hurdle. Book of Gold is second, Garcid third over on the far rail. Then comes New Duds, and on the near side, the left of the picture, that is Bound and Duty. Bound and Duty being followed by Charlton Yeoman. They come to the second, Sabaki River. Sabaki River lands in the lead from Book of Gold. Then Bound and Duty and Garcid. And just behind them, Charlton Yeoman. Wide of the others is Trimlock. Tailed off at the moment is Chester Terrace and Sabaki River. Still making it from Book of Gold, Bound and Duty, Garcid on the inside, New Duds is next, Charlton Yeoman on the outer, Destriero sticking to the inner with Luthier. And Granville again has only got 4 horses behind him at the moment as they begin the run downhill, with Sabaki River from Book of Gold, Bound and Duty on the outside, Garcid next. Then comes Charlton Yeoman, New Duds, Destriero, Johnny Will, and just in behind them come Luthior over the third. And a mistake there by Chester Terrace, who was in rear. Shannon Glen is improving a little, coming down towards the next. And Book of Gold has taken it up now in the Jim Joel colours. From over on the far side, Bound and Duty, Sabaki River on the near side. Going up to join him is Johnny Will, just in behind the lead. Garcid is still very close to the lead as they begin to swing left-handed. Book of Gold still from Sabaki River. Bound and Duty on the outside. Destriero getting a little bit closer. Johnny Will's very close to the lead. Garcid also. Then comes Charlton Yeoman over the fifth. A beautiful jump by the leader there, Book of Gold. Book of Gold, the leader, as they race to the top of the hill from Bound and Duty. Then comes Destriero, one of the Irish gambles, who's moved smoothly into third place. Garcid is a faller on the turn there. Garcid lost his footing and went on the bend. And it's still Book of Gold from on the outside. Bound and Duty. Destriero making significant progress on the inner. General Idea is also coming to join him as well. And Charlton Yeoman over on the outside. Granville again has got a lot to do. It's Book of Gold, the leader, but Granville again is improving now. It's Book of Gold, though, from Bound and Duty. Gran Alba the Grey towards the outside. Destriero, then comes General Idea, then Granville again. This is 2 from home now. And Destriero for Rowland has taken it up at the second last. It's Destriero with Nordic Surprise coming there for Rowland, 2 under young Eddie Kearns. And between horses is the grey Gran Alba. It's Destriero on the far side. Nordic Surprise under pressure on the near side. Gran Alba in between horses, and Granville again trying to get to them. Destriero landed in the lead. It's Destriero being challenged now by Granville again, then Gran Alba and Nordic Surprise. It's Destriero who's going to land a £1 million gamble as he races up towards the line. Destriero holding Granville again and Gran Alba, and Destriero has won it from Granville again second. Third was Gran Alba, fourth was Nordic Surprise, and so it's an Irish 1-4 as Destriero lands one of the most spectacular gambles ever achieved at Cheltenham. The winner of the first running of the Trafalgar House sponsored Supreme Novices Hurdle, number 5, Destriero, owned by Mrs. Elizabeth Furlong, trained by Andy Geraghty in Ireland, and ridden by Pat McWilliams. Pat McWilliams, first ever winner at the festival. Destriero only his second run over hurdles and unbeaten in his 2 runs. Second was number 10, Granville again, owned by Mr. Eric Scarf, trained by Martin Pipe and ridden by Peter Scudamore. And third was number 9, Gran Alba, owned by Mr. David Thompson, trained by Richard Hannon, ridden by Graham McCourt. And fourth, the youngest horse and the youngest rider in the race, number 21, Nordic Surprise, owned by Mr. Edward J. Kearns, trained by Jim Bulger, and ridden by Eddie Kearns Jr. So Destriero lands a really spectacular gamble. Individual bets of 6 figures on this horse by Ile de Bourbon, one-time winner of the King George VI and Queen Elizabeth Diamond Stakes out of Tipperary Tartan by Rarity, once trained by Mick O'Toole, who sewed him on, and trained here by Andy Geraghty to land a famous gamble.
And of course, the big change here was, look on the inner, the light colours, the horse with the white face going down, Garcid. He just, I'm afraid, was in a scrimmaging match, touched someone's heels and the rails, and went down. Let's hope Luke Harvey is fine. Well, when the race really got into interest here, Destriero's already in front. Young Pat McWilliams, who was over here with Richard Hannon and John Jenkins, but had to go home to start making a name for himself. In the lead, Granalba the Grey ran in the Derby in second place. Richard Hannon's runner here, and young Eddie Kearns producing on the outside. Nordic Surprise beautifully. In the middle of them is the favourite, Granville again. He's had the most awful run. He's been bumped and bored and unable to get through, and when he did, it was all too late, sadly, because he used his energy up to get there. Book of Gold's on a blinder, back in 5th place, just weakening from there. And in the yellow colours in 6th place, going backwards, but still running well, General Idea. But Destriero and young Pat McWilliams, who was rated as one of the future top jockeys in Ireland, is really taking no chances now. They've landed a huge gamble here. They could have another winner with the Iliad, and a very stylish rider, head down, going nicely in rhythm there, just waving his stick. Granville again had run very well after a very rough race indeed. Granalba in third has run as super. Well, from another angle you can see them coming down to the last here, and it looks as if Destriero's right tight to the rails, just jinks across right-handed a little bit. Book of Gold is on the inner with the red hat of Jim Joel, and right wide is, of course, the Nordic Surprise. You can see how they run around from this head-on camera. It does amaze me how different the view is from head-on to sideways. Just look back behind the red hat of Book of Gold. You can see Shannon Glenn running on. Big baby, he'll be better another day. But as they go there, here is the winner.
Yes, there's some reception for young Pat McWilliams on his first visit to the winner's circle in this famed arena at the Cheltenham National Hunt Festival. Really remarkable performance this by an inexperienced horse who'd only had one previous outing over hurdles. A third foal of his dam, Tipperary Tartan, and a half-brother to a fairly modest selling hurdler, Staveri. Nothing modest about his performance this afternoon, and in this Trafalgar House Supreme Novices hurdle, in which the starting prices were as follows.
First, number 5, Destriero, 6-1. Second, number 10, Granville again, 2-1 favourite. And third, number 9, Granalba, 25-1.
Well, maybe the successful proprietor will be sorry he didn't have his bet at tote odds. Mind you, if he'd had that money on the machine, he'd have been lucky to have achieved a return of 9-1. The distances, incidentally, as we see the winning combo return to the scales, 4 lengths and 3/4 of a length. Jonathan Powell obviously seeking to line up Pat McWilliams for an interview to introduce him to you. So a tremendous start for the Irish, who haven't been as prominent in recent years as they were in the past. But of course, good cut in the ground. The going on the fast side for the last 2 years, and Irish horses are accustomed to running and with getting their toe into the ground, and even more than that in Ireland. And so they're much more at home on a surface that is described as good to soft, and is certainly soft in some areas. They went to post winners of 42 races between them. Last Irish success in this was back in 1983, when Tommy Carmody won it on Buckhouse.
4-1 the favourite, Deep Idol. Weather-The Storm still on 7s, that's second favourite. Knockkelly Castle 15-2. Yabis has come in another point to 8-1. Jasper is 9s, Oppidan is 10-1. Shannon Spray and Canute Express 14-1. My Dominion is 16, so is Honeygrove Banker, and Jasper has just shaved a point off, has gone to 8-1. Jasper 8-1. 20-1 bar.
So the best of ours is Yarbis, and then Jasper is next in the betting, but the stand's absolutely packed cram full. There's no room to get a mouse up there. And now onto the newer, bigger stands. Of course, the private boxes on the top level. And huge crowd here down on the lawns, but let's go to Peter.
And so another page being written in Cheltenham history this afternoon as the first live race is broadcast to the betting shops throughout England, and they're coming to the first now, and as they do so, My Dominion and Jasper landed in the lead from Fandango Light over on the far side, in between horses, and right up with them is My Dominion, and it's Fandango Light taking him along. Fandango Light on the far side, Jasper running only his second race over hurdles on the near side. And between horses now, Shannon Spray for Ireland. Just in behind them comes Oppidan. And then Dan the Miller, and Jasper going to jump this clear. Jasper lands in the lead from Shannon Spray and Fandango Light in the Clown, and then Oppidan, and then River Kiriog, and behind him is Dan the Miller. Then comes My Dominion. And as they race up round the top turn here, it's Jasper in the lead from Fandango Light on the inside of Shannon Spray, and then the Clown, then River Kiriog. Behind him is Oppidan and Dan the Miller. Then comes Yank Brown. My Dominion on the inside. Towards the outside is Weather-The Storm. The back marker at the moment of the 29 runners is Knockkelly Castle. And as they run downhill, Fandango Light on the inside, Jasper over on the far side. Between horses, Shannon Spray. Then in fourth comes the Clown with River Kiriog, and just in behind them comes Oppidan. Then Metman. Behind Metman is My Dominion. Dan the Miller on the outside. Danish Flight rather, just in behind them. Then comes Yabis making ground. Then Mrs. Muck not far behind the leaders. Coming to the fourth, Jasper in the lead from Shannon Spray on the far side. On the near side, very close, Fandango Light. Then comes River Kiriog, who's going to jump it fourth, just ahead of the Clown. Then comes Metman. Behind Metman is Oppidan, who's making progress. Danish Flight is losing ground. Knockkelly Castle and Deep Idol are both making ground, but Knockkelly has got quite a bit to do. Brown's Return is one of the back markers now with Seatel. Jasper still making it over the fifth. Jasper lands over the fifth from Shannon Spray. Then comes River Kiriog moving smoothly in third. Then on the inside, Deep Idol with the Clown, and then Metman, and just in behind them, Danish Flight making ground again. Then comes Weather-The Storm, racing downhill now towards the third last flight in this Waterford Crystal Supreme Novices hurdle. And it's still Jasper, who's made all the running just about so far from Shannon Spray. Then comes River Kiriog. Deep Idol is making ground. Deercrest is making ground over on the far side. The Clown holding his position on the near side. Jasper at the third last lands in the lead from the Clown on the inside and River Kiriog. Deep Idol's making progress, and so is Knockkelly Castle with a sheepskin noseband, only fourth now, just in behind the leaders and cruising at the moment. Coming down to the second last flight, the Clown and River Kiriog have taken over from Knockkelly Castle, who goes third. It's the Clown now on the inside, River Kiriog with the advantage though, and Knockkelly Castle still finishing well. He's the one in the sheepskin noseband chasing River Kiriog as they come down to the final flight. River Kiriog with the advantage from Knockkelly Castle and the Clown. River Kiriog lands in the lead. Knockkelly Castle and the Clown jump it next. Deep Idol is next. It's River Kiriog from the Clown, Knockkelly Castle, Canute Express and Deep Idol as they race up towards the line, and River Kiriog has the Waterford Crystal Supreme well sewn up. It's number one for England at the line. River Kiriog, the very easy winner. Deep Idol gets up to be second ahead of the Clown third. Fourth was Canute Express, and five was Knockkelly Castle. Behind them, My Dominion and Yabis, and then Weather-The Storm, and behind them, Infinity Rules and Yank Brown. and looking right back to the tail enders, the last to finish, in fact, Seatail. And so the result of the opener at the 1986 National Hunt Festival, first, number 28, River Kerryog, owned by Mr. Bobby McAlpine, trained by Nicky Henderson, written by Steve Smith-Eccles. Second was number 13, Deep Idol, owned by Mr. Herbert M. Stanley, trained by Paddy Osborne in Ireland and written by Boots Madden. And third was number 34, The Clown, owned by Mr. Geoffrey C. Greenwood, trained by Mick Norton and written by Roget Strong. And it's a photograph for fourth place between Canute Express and Knockkelly Castle. But this is the winner, River Kerryog.
And it was pretty evident at the top of the hill that this horse here, leading now River Kerryog, was absolutely cantering, but there were quite a few behind him. Steve Smith-Eccles, on his 49th winner of the season, has left them for absolute drunks behind him. They've got no answer whatsoever. And this horse, who'd finished so well at Ascot last time out when Reva Rose got up to win, Reva Rose incidentally couldn't meet this engagement through sore shins, has certainly trained on, and I doubt whether we'll see an easier winner all week. It's in the colours of Bobby McAlpine, and he's by Brockstead, who stood at Bobby's Emerald Stud up in Cheshire, and certainly he'll be a very proud man to see this one come home. He's got a lot of interest on the flat, but his heart is also very much into jumping.
And the steward's inquiry announced, but surely not affecting the winner. It may have been that Knockkelly Castle was hanging a little bit at the last. It just interesting to see whether he did appear to interfere with any of his rivals. But very little doubt that number 28 will remain in the frame after the opener here. The opener which the Irish had supplied successful raiders in for 7 of the past 9 years, looked to be supplying a very, very dangerous threat when Paddy Prendergast's hope, Knockkelly Castle, who had made a mistake, incidentally, earlier on, moved up at the second last, but he just put his head up a little bit and hung, rather as he had in his previous run in Ireland. And Deep Idol, his great rival from over the sea, got up to deprive him anyway of second place, and he was officially placed 4th, Knockkelly Castle, incidentally, ahead of 5th, the Chepstow winner, number 8, Canute Express, and River Kerryog, the 40-to-1 winner. And there the photograph for the minor placings, showing Deep Idol, the Clown, Knockkelly Castle, and between Knockkelly Castle, as near as to us, of that trio behind Deep Idol, is Canute Express. And young Lorcan-Wire, whom we'll be seeing tomorrow on a Murta in the National Hunt Chase. And so a great fillip this for the See You Then stable of Nicky Henderson. It's his 26th winner of the season, and it puts Steve Smith-Eccles on the 49 mark. Trained by Barry Hills, this horse on the flat. Barry won first 2 of his 3 races with him in 1984. Ran a pretty good race not all that long ago at Ascot behind Reva Rose and Wagoner who went on to be second on the level at Cannes-sur-Mer. Nicky Henderson, his trainer, was telling me earlier that they call it Kiriog, not Siriog in the stable. Not, he added, that you'll probably have to mention him very much. And so the starting prices after shock number 1 at the National Hunt Festival as follows.
First number 28, River Kiriog, 40-4-0 to 1. Second number 13, Deep Idol, 4-1 favourite. Third number 34, The Clown, 100 to 1. First, River Kiriog, 40 to 1. Second, Deep Idol, 4-1 favourite. And third, The Clown, 100 to 1. But remember, there is a Stewart.
25 to 1, Mick Fitzgerald. Arctic Fancy, 66 to 1, Warren Marson. Taylor is 25 to 1, Graham Bradley, and Brownlee at 66 to 1, the front runner, Seamus Durack. Cardinal Hill, the 5 to 2 favourite, Paul Carberry. Carlos Quest Visor, 200 to 1, Dean Gallagher. Colonel Jaeger, 9 to 1, Richard Dunwoody. And Copper Shell, a very big 250 to 1, Brendan Powell. Ho Invader, 40 to 1, Jamie McGee. Joe Mack, 6 to 1, Conor O'Dwyer. Perfect Venue, and it is 40 to 1, John Kavanagh. Prominent Profile, and it has 25 to 1, Carl Llewellyn. Rathborne Prince, 50 to 1, Richard Hughes. Ricardo, 25 to 1, Norman Williamson. Sansaru Blinkard, 250 to 1, Matthias Keller. Silence Reigns, 50 to 1, Joe Tizard. The Fly, very strongly fancied, 11 to 2, Jamie Osborne. Witherall Witch, 20 to 1, Ruby Walsh. Orla Loire, 5 to 1, Tony McCoy. Treasure Chest Visor, 250 to 1, Roddy Green. That's the lineup. You know, it's almost louder than the start of the National. They're at the first now and all over the first safely. 8 flights of hurdles to jump in this speed championship, and it's Brown Lad, as expected, the bowls along. They've got a long run now before they sort themselves out and come towards flight 2. Prominent Profile, Witherall Witch. Ho Invader on the outside. Perfect Venue is running fast. The Greyhound Tyler is taking a prominent position early on for the Anfield Hombres, and then behind them Copper Shell. Orla Loire in a good position. At this stage, the favourite Cardinal Hill sits in a midfield role on the inside, and Joe Mack is tracking him in the same ownership. Come down towards the second then. They really are going lickety-split. It's Brown Lad, what a good jump. The wave of second place comprises Witherall Witch, Ho Invader. On the outside, Silent Reigns runs well. Prominent Profile the inside. And then our Taylor, Orla Loire, followed by Arctic Fancy. On the outside, Sansaru, and then Cardinal Hill and Joe Mack and Orgong, and Colonel Jaeger and Treasure Chest, and then Ricardo, followed by Copper Shell. The Fly is the 3 last. 2 last is Rathborne Prince, and as they spin away from the turn, it's Carlos Quest who's last. So they wreck their way out towards the flight number 3, and it's still Brown Lad that leads. Brown Lad has the edge here. 2 Witherall Witch on the inside, and then showing in third is Ho Invader. On the outer is Silence Reigns, and the Greyhound Tala is making ground 2. Come down towards flight 3.
Brown Lad in front then. The Fly was slightly hampered passing the stands, well down at that point, and the 2 McManus horses, Joe Mack and Cardinal Hill, both held up in midfield. Down the back straight they go. Artada the grey on the outside, Brown Lad towards the inside. Ho Invader is right there too, with Witherall Witch not far away, and Arctic Fancy, and towards the outside of these Sansuru, the German raider. Silence Reigns is right up there too. Red and white colours into third place as they clear another. That was very untidy at that. Carly's Quest is well adrift at the moment as they continue down the back straight. Right out the back also Treasure Chest and Copper Shell. Beginning to climb on the far side now, and it's Brown Lad and Artala going head and head. Orla Loire into third there. Pale blue jacket under Tony McCoy. Ho Invader on the inside of Arctic Fancy, then from Silence Reigns as they clear the next, and then Sansuru. Cardinal Hill into about 4th or 5th place now. Sheepskin noseband, blue cap, followed by Joe Mack. As they reach the top of the hill, it's Artala from Orla Loire and Arctic Fancy. They're about to run down towards the final 3 flights.
So at the top of the hill on the far side, Artala and Orla Loire 1 and 2. The yellow jacket Arctic Fancy. In the blue cap is Cardinal Hill getting closer. White cap is Joe Mack. The grey horse back in the midfield is the Fly, but that's getting going now. Then we've got Brown Lad trying to recover from that mistake. Silence Reigns drops away, but it's Orla Loire who takes command of the Citroën Supreme Novices hurdle. And with 2 more flights of hurdles to jump, it's Orla Loire. Martin Pipe, 22 winners at the festival so far. Tony McCoy 9, but looking behind, because there come the big Irish Raiders with the white cap, Joe Mack, who's in third place too. Cardinal Hill, who's gone. Cardinal Hill's out of the race. but he's spread-eagled them on the final turn. There's Orlalois, ball for a massive sum from France, but he's doing the business in colossal style, because it's Orlalois, Tony McCoy, clear by 6 in second place, Joe Mack at the final flight now, and it's Orlalois who gets Piper McCoy off to an absolute corker in the Speed Championship for novice hurdles. It's Orlalois, a French import, storming up the hill, 12.15 clear. He's going away with every stride. A most impressive win, and at the line, Orlalois streaks home from Joe Mack, and then we have Arctic Fancy in third. Colonel Jaeger runs on bravely up the hill with Witch, and after that one came Ricardo, and then Rathborn followed through by Perfect Venue, and after Perfect Venue all gone, and then we have Ortala, and the trail end Charlies include Brown Lad and also the German Raider Sansaru and Copper Shell and Ho Invader. And so Orlalois wins this, number 19 on the card in the colours of Paul Green, now trained by Martin Pipe now, and ridden by Tony McCoy. Pipe's 23rd winner of the festival, and 9-2 chancer, and 4 in a row, 10 in all for our champion jockey Tony McCoy. What
today in the Cheltenham Festival opener by 17 lengths from number 10 Joe Mack at 6-1, and a good run by the third, number 2 Arctic Fancy at 66-1. The win tote 420, places 190, 280 and 17 pounds. Dual forecast 1640 and the straight forecast 23.96. Cardinal Hill, the strong 11-4 favourite, unseated at the second last 20. And running for the 2004 Cheltenham Festival towards the first flight. A very short run to the first. Locksmith is one of the leaders with Fleet Street right there as well. Brave Inca, the favourite, is very handy in the yellow sleeve jacket in a noseband. Pearl de Puce is out wide, and then behind these is Dictum towards the outside of runners as they race towards the second. A very long run to the second flight, plenty of time to get some racing room, and it's Locksmith over on the far side, chased by Cardenas in a black and red jacket with handy Mariah Rollins. Out in the centre is the white-faced Fleet Street with Brave Inca, and then Dictum out wide. Very wide on the course in maroon is War of Attrition. They're followed then by Simoon, and then behind these is Albahera, covered up in about 8 places. They jump the second flight, they all land safely, and Island Stream is the last to land. They pass the packed enclosures here at Cheltenham, and it's Fleet Street on the outside of Locksmith with between the pair Mariah Rollins, and then wide of these is Dictum. War of Attrition on the outside of Cardenas, and then the grey John Oliver. Up the inside of runners and a bit short of room is Arch Stanton from Albahera, and then Brave Inca, who's just been settled off the pace a little bit now into the midfield by Barry Cash, with Simoon on his outside. Wide out as well is Gare Champêtre with Pearl de Puce, who's less prominent than she was. Lac Dudal and Euroleader on the inside, then from Zivoline and Zumzi out the back, Bourbon Manhattan and Island Stream. Heading along the back straight towards flight number 3, and it's Locksmith on the inside that just about rises first with Fleet Street. Simoon is already being driven along. Island Stream is struggling as well. Mariah Rollins is right up with the pace, with Dictum on the outside in the purple jacket, as now they move along towards the next flight. Flight number 4 they're coming to, well enough grouped, and Locksmith on the near side, almost narrowly headed by Fleet Street in the white jacket. Dictum is wide, War of Attrition is out deep. Then Cardenas on the inside, Mariah Rollins, they were already flying over that. John Oliver is just tracking the leaders in about 6th or 7th, the big grey horse. Brave Inca towards the outside of runners at the moment. The nose-banded Albahera is close up as well. And then Arch Stanton towards the inside, and Lac Dudal as they begin the run uphill towards the far side of the course. Heading to the next, Locksmith over with Fleet Street on his outside, War of Attrition, and then Dictum. Brave Inca's on their heels in about 5th or 6th. Mariah Rollins and Cardenas around the inside. Bourbon Manhattan has made some headway, but forced to race a little bit wide. Lac Dudal is now driven along. Albahera has lost a place or two, and Arch Stanton is also stopped in his run there. They reach the top of the hill, and down the hill they go, and it's still Fleet Street just in front of Locksmith, then War of Attrition. Brave Inca looking a big danger, the yellow sleeve jacket on the outside from Bourbon Manhattan, and then behind these is Mariah Rollins as they landed over the third last. Island Stream has been pulled out. They've got 2 flights left to jump. Fleet Street taken on by War of Attrition. Look to the left, that's Brave Inca. Over on the right is Locksmith as they race down towards this second last. About to rise, about to leave the ground once again, and out it was War of Attrition that just landed in front. Arch Stanton getting a good run round the inside, but Brave Inca is poised to pounce. Then Fleet Street back in 4th place. Albahira trying to run on then from Locksmith, Cardenas and Bourbon Manhattan down towards the final flight. 2 Irish Raiders breaking loose. War of attrition challenged by the favourite Brave Inca in the air together. Brave Inca strikes the front from War of attrition. They are 5-6 lengths clear of Arch Stanton, Fleet Street and Cardenas. Brave Inca on the near side. War of attrition making a real fight of it. Brave Inca by a nostril. War of attrition won't give in. Brave Inca for favourite punters may just have got there. Brave Inca from War of attrition. Fleet Street in 3rd, then Cardenas and Gare Champette. After these was Arch Stanton, Lac Dudel and Locksmith and Bourbon Manhattan, Zibberline and Albahira. And then looking amongst the stragglers, Zumzi, who never really got into it, Euro Leader and Simoon and John Oliver. And Mariah Rollins finished riderless. David Casey parted company with that mare, and Pearl de Puce was pulled up. What a tremendous finish up the hill for the first race, this Leatherby and Christopher Supreme Novice's hurdle. It was a tooth and claw tussle between these 2 Irish horses. War of attrition on the far side, Brave Inca on the near side, the hotly fancied Irish first banker of the meeting. Barry Cash in the saddle. Barry's won the money, but it was really close. His horse had to fight very hard. He looked as though he timed his run beautifully going towards the final flight. And it is confirmed, Brave Inca has won the opener here at Cheltenham.
Tremendous cheers around here. Bookies cannot believe the disaster is continuing. Brave Inca 11-2 with Coral this morning, generally 5 and 9-2. Returned the 7-2 favourite, and Freddie Williams, as I told you shortly before the off, Lady 90,000 to 20. The runner-up, War of Attrition, sent off a double carpet, 33-1. They clipped that in from 50-1. And Fleet Street was 3rd. That was a 20-1 chance. And this Brave Inca, the 37th favourite in 111 runnings to win it. And the last 2 years have gone to the Ireland as well, with Back in Front and Like a Butterfly. Forest Sun was the favourite before that in 1990. Ireland for the 9th time 1-2. The cheers going up, the punters delighted. They're really flying now. Brave Inca wins by a neck and 7 lengths.
Well, wonderful start to the 3 days, and we'll be lucky if we have another finish like this. And tremendous for Barry Cash. Rode a really good race on this horse because he got a good position early, then just settled him in a little bit, and had Conor O'Dwyer to contend with all the way up the run in 10. And it wasn't until the last 20 yards that you know, we knew which one was going to get his head in front.
No, a great success for Barry Cash. I mean, Conor has tasted big glory here before with Imperial Call, but this will be huge for Barry in his career. His mum Anne and his father Mick will be absolutely over the moon. He's from a great horse family. Ever since this fella could learn to walk, I'm sure he rode a horse. Wonderful success. Great for Colin Murphy too. Everybody down there in Gorey, the County Wexford. These are 2 of the lesser lights of Irish jumping. Colin Murphy, young man on the way up. Barry Cash, a good tough jockey. To win the first race here at Cheltenham, it's like Christmas, Santa Claus, all rolled into one.
Absolutely wonderful. Give me a real buzz.
Flight of hurdles in the Citroën Supreme Novice's hurdle, and it's the Flying Phantom up there very early. Very wide on the course is Whip Panther. On the inside, the favourite Finnegan's Hollow, the white cap, Charlie Swan, going the shortest way. They're all safely over the first and come down towards the second. And Queen of Spades pulling her way through to take up the running now. Queen of Spades to Humble sitting in second. The grey Flying Phantom in third. The pace is strong. Whip Hand to the left of the picture in the pink cap sits fourth, commenced 5. Going through on the inside is Dino's Beano in company with the favourite Finnegan's Hollow. And they come down towards flight number 2. Just behind these, we've got Wade Road, Principal off the pace, Polydamus well down the field. Mr. RM, the back marker, as they take the second, where the Flying Phantom is a fall-up. The horse is on his feet okay, and Pigeon Devon will shortly rise. Swing left-handed, and Queen of Spades leading to in second place Humble. Then we've got Whip Hand sitting in third, and Dino's Beano in 4th, followed by Finnegan's Hollow 5. Then Wade Road 6th, 3 Scholars 7th, Commences 8th. And behind that one comes Graphic Equalizer sitting 9 in midfield. Polydamus follows, followed by Kailash, and then after that comes Nordic Breeze and Principal. And the back markers as they race away from the stands. Last of all is Mr. RM, and last but one is Shadow Leader. Peter Niven walking but wounded, and away they go down towards flight number 3.
On towards the third, Queen of Spades and Humble disputing it. Kailash got squeezed out, leaving the straight, and also right out the back is Shadow Leader at the moment as they race towards the next. Humble just landed in front there from Queen of Spades. A very bad mistake in third place there by Whip Hand, who was down on his knees, and then back in behind those then is Finnegan's Hollow, who's got a very good position at this stage as they race along towards the fourth flight. On the inside in a blue jacket is Dino's Beano. Shadow Leader is making headway now. Dark blue and yellow jacket up the inside, moves into 9th or 10th position as they continue their journey down the back. The front running mare Queen of Spades has her nose in front, though Guest there. Humble landed second. Whip Hand is back in the field on the outside. Wade Road has made good headway out wide in a brown jacket. Queen of Spades only just got back on the track there. Looked as though she might run out for a second. Finnegan's Hollow in the white cap has moved into third on the inside. Green and yellow hoops the well-back favourite. Also improving is Three Scholars. Dino's Beano back on the inside. Over the next, Queen of Spades led them. They climb up towards the top of the hill. Whip Hand in the noseband. Finnegan's Hollow is pulling double in third place. Then Three Scholars. Wade Road out deep. Dino's Beano, the improving Shadow Leader, and Graphic Equalizer from Principal. Top of the hill in the Citron Supreme Novices herd.
Under 3/4 of a mile to go. Then a little bit of freewheeling downhill towards the third from home. Tailing off is Clemensk, but it's still on the inside, Queen of Spades. Finnegan's Hollow, the favourite, white cap, travelling as well as any Three Scholars. Then Wade Road making ground the outside of Whip Hand. Led in with chances from the back. Principal with a bit of a run over that one, and it was probably Finnegan's Hollow, but he's fallen. Finnegan's Hollow is out of the race there. The horse is okay. Charlie Swan gets a kick, but he gets up, and as they come down towards the next, it's Three Scholars for David Casey, the blue and yellow. On the outside, here comes Graphic Equalizer. Still the Irish in with chances from nowhere. Nordic Breeze has come there. Also Shadow Leader through on the inside. Mr. RM challenges but falls. At the back of the pack, also very untidy there was Whip Hand. But they make the final turn, and it's Shadow Leader under Jamie Osborne come to take the race now to Nordic Breeze in second, and these are clear. Graphic Equalizer in third, down towards the final flight. On the right, it's Shadow Leader. He jumps it well. Nordic Breeze is awkward. Back in third is Wade Road, who nods on landing, and then behind these Principal, but tearing up the lead is Shadow Leader. He's gone 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 legs clear. Nothing succeeds like success, and it's Jamie Osborne storming to take the opening race of the festival. At the line, it's Shadow Leader who wins it. Very tight for second. Principal gets second. Nordic Breeze third.
Well, Irish eyes were certainly starting to smile as Finnegan's Hollow approached the third last. He was travelling really well in Charlie Swan's hands, but he just failed to get his landing gear out in time. It took a right fall. But even the strongest of Finnegan's Hollow's fans would have to question whether he would have had the finishing speed of Shadow Leader. The way he quickened up in Jamie Osborne's hands once he approached the last, it was the performance of a high-class novice. And if this young horse continues to improve, he could go back next year to be a real live champion hurl contender.
Coming towards the tapes. And they're away with Hidden Universe leading them towards the first flight as they jump it. Short run too. Megan Starr in the dark blue sleeves on the outside. Purple cap of Marsh Warbler towards the inside. Spirit Sun, Dunraven Storm is close up in the red and white jacket. On the near side is Zaidpour in pink, the white-faced Zaidpour from Sprinter Sacra. Then Q-Card, the royal blue. Pink stars on the sleeves. Q-Card held up in mid-division by Joe Tizard, with on the far side of him Spanish Treasure. And on the near side is Rathlin, the grey is Alpha Off, then Gib River in pink, Sheer Genius, and far away so close is the early back marker as they gallop on towards the second of 8 flights, and Dunraven Storm coming through to dispute it with Megan Starr. Marsh Warbler on the inside, then Hidden Universe as they clear that one, followed by Spirit Sun, who's out wide of Recession Proof, then Q-Card into about 7th place from Sprinter Sacra. Out wide is Rathlin from Zaidpour, then Spanish Treasure. Further back, Gib River, Alpha Off, Sheer Genius, and far away so close at the tail of the field. The field are pretty well grouped together. as they make their way into the back straight. It doesn't look a mad gallop, and it's Dun Raven Storm from Megan Starr as they meet a short descent now towards flight number 3, and these two leaders have opened up by about 4 or 5 lengths. Over in third place, Marsh Warburg on the inside of Hidden Universe, and then Spirit Sun as they clear that one. Q Card's not far behind them with Recession Proof. Q Card going off the 7-4 favourite as they continue down the back straight. Chasing the leading 3 remains Spirit Sun with Sprinter Sacra, his stable companion, towards the outside under Tony McCoy. And now approaching next, Spanish Treasures up the inside of Gib River, still in midfield. Alfaroff remains held up. The grey and the yellow jacket with Far Away So Close as they land over that, and Sheer Genius has now dropped to the tail of the field. They'll shortly be running left-handed and uphill towards the next flight. And it's Dun Raven Storm on the inside of Megan Starr. Rathlin out wide in the Hoop Cat, getting closer from Spirit Sun. Then up the inside, Marsh Warburg of Hidden Universe. Then Sprinter Sacra. Q Card just getting a little short of room going into that flight there. Was reined back for half a stride, or maybe a stride or two, by Joe Tizard, but the favourite within 4 or 5 lengths of the lead, and they're still in a tight cluster. A little bit of traffic problems at the back between Spanish Treasure and Sheer Genius, but they're struggling as now they reach the top of the hill. And it's Megan Starr from Rathlin, Dun Raven Storm, Spirit Sun, Marsh Warburg a bit short of room up the inside of Hidden Universe. Alfaroff is one that's improving in yellow with Q Card still full of running, and Sprinter Sacra on the left in the red jacket. They race down towards the third last now in the Supreme. Sprinter Sacra coming through a very prominent role now, maybe just led there under the champion jockey for his Q Card cruising through, gets a roar from the crowd. Rathlin, Spirit Sun on the right in the white colours, then Alfaroff. Dun Raven Storm has pulled up, going towards the second last. Sprinter Sacra and Spirit Sun with Q Card in between the Henderson pair as they run to the final turn, and now Tizard's niggling away on Q Card. Sprinter Sacra going arguably as well on the outside, and then Spirit Sun as they race towards the final flight. Alfaroff back in 4th place. Q Card's in trouble. Sprinter Sacra is running on gamely, and he's just beating off the favourite at this stage. Spirit Sun coming with a renewed effort at the final flight. Sprinter Sacra, Spirit Sun, then Alfaroff. Q Card on the far side. Alfaroff is charging between runners now in the hands of Ruby Walsh, and it's going to be a great start for the meeting for Nichols and Walsh, and Alfaroff wins the Supreme. Spirit Sun in 2nd, Sprinter Sacra 3rd, the favourite Q Card only 4th. Then Recession Proof running on from Rathlin, Zaidpur, Spanish Treasure, followed by Far Away So Close, Gib River, Marsh Warbler, Hidden Universe, Megan Starr, and Sheer Genius was last of all, Dun Raven Storm, having been pulled as they now approach the starter for this Sky Bet Supreme Novices Hurdle over 2 miles. The giant roar sends them on their way for the first race of the 2016 Cheltenham Festival. Charbel Super Sunday. Min is handy on the far side in the pink jacket, just 2nd under Ruby Walsh there behind David Bass on Charbel. Then Super Sunday in 3rd, with towards the outside Bells Hill coming into shot, black and beige jacket. Petit Mouchoir in the white cap, far side Tombstone. There followed by Altior in a black cap, Nico de Boinville in the midfield from William H. Bonney. And then towards the outside, North Hill Harvey, black jacketed Penglai Pavilion, Silver Concord further back, Mr. Miyagi Bouverdaire, and Hollybush Henry on the left of your picture, just the early back marker. They approach the 2nd flight, and Charbel from the favourite Min in 2nd, leaving the ground. Super Sunday landing just 3rd ahead of Bells Hill. Then Petit Mouchoir from Altior. Another cheer from this exuberant, enthusiastic crowd here at Prestbury Park. On the inside, Tombstone halfway down the field then is Hollybush Henry on the outside of Penglai Pavilion. Then North Hill Harvey, William H. Bonney, Silver Concord on the inside. Bouverdaire is held up 2nd last, and Mr. Miyagi is last of all as they now enter the back straight. On the descent towards flight number 3, and still Charbel making the running then from Min in second place, and then a couple of lengths to Super Sunday in third. Petit Mouchoir. Min just stood off a long way from that flight. You only just reached it. It was a very guessy jump. Super Sunday just behind him in third. On the outside, Bell's Hill is handy from Altior, and Petit Mouchoir, the grey, on the near side. They're followed by Hollybush, Henry and William H. Bonny within amongst those on the near side. Tombstone as they near the next. Charbel will lift off about a length ahead of Min over this. Min was better this time. Super Sunday over in third, Petit Mouchoir and Altior, then Bell's Hill towards the outside of runners, Hollybush, Henry, Penglai Pavilion, North Hill, Harvey, and then further back Tombstone on the inside, Bouvier-Dare, Mr. Miyagi, and Silver Concord has dropped to last place at the moment. Purple Yellow Cat jumping the next. That was 4 out, and still Charbel leads the way, a packing field. Min is a close second. Super Sunday has always been third. They're followed by Petit Mouchoir, who's gone right round the inside. Altior has always been within 4 lengths of the lead. The black jacket with the green and grey striped sleeves. On the outside of Altior is Bell's Hill as they reach the top of the hill. Swinging on down now, under 5 furlongs to cover. Charbel from Min. Min travelling really well for Ruby Walsh. Altior on the outside, poised to mount a challenge. They're followed by Super Sunday. This is the third last. Charbel on a good stride. Min jumps it well in second. Altior is right there, followed by Super Sunday. Petit Mouchoir the inside. Tombstone trying to get into it. Bouvier-Dare is making steady headway. So too North Hill Harvey. This is the second last. Charbel is almost joined by Min. Min landing just ahead, a little awkwardly though, but leads now into the turn. Charbel battling on. Altior now rounding the pair as they straighten up for the judge, and Min is joined by Altior, and Altior is striding on very strongly indeed as they approach the last. Ruby Walsh now goes after the favourite. It's Altior that leads, approaching the last. Altior will leave the ground 2 or 3 lengths clear of Min. It looks like a turn up. Back in third, Bouvier-Dare, the leader's stable companion, running on, but Altior is stretching right away really impressively, and is supreme in the supreme. Well clear of the favourite Min. Bouvier-Dare was third. Tombstone, Charbel, followed her by Mr. Miyagi, and Petit Mouchoir, Super Sunday, North Hill Harvey, Hollybush Henry, William H. Bonny, Penglai Pavilion, Bell's Hill, and Silver Concord, who was in trouble a long way out.
This Waterford Crystal Supreme Novice Hurdle with 18 runners. The white flag's up. They're under orders and they're running. And Motor On, the grey, one of the first to show towards the right of the picture as they come to the first of the 8 flights. Win out over on the far left. Stray shot between horses. Townley Stones not far behind the leaders. And settling down in the early stages, Gav's Delight now going on with Stray Shot and Winart. Just in behind them, Motor On and Brown's Gazette, and then Beachcourt Lad. Then Herbert United, and behind him Rymer's Tower as they race towards the second. Gav's Delight, Stray Shot and Winart. These 3 just ahead of Brown's Gazette, Bob Tisdall. Behind them Rymer's Tower, and then Fields Right and Herbert United. The back marker at the moment is Keelby Cavalier, and Gav's Delight leading him from Stray Shot on the inside of Winart. Then comes Brown's Gazette and Bob Tisdall, and behind them Rymer's Tower with Fields Right on the inside, and then Poet's Corner. And then Motor On, who's lost quite a few places. Behind him Herbert United and Far Rockaway. Then comes Beachcourt Lad on the inside of Townley Stone, with Hillbilly on the outside. Keelby Cavalier still the back marker. Running down towards the third flight. Gav's Delight in the lead from Winart and Stray Shot. Then Bob Tisdall and Brown's Gazette and Fields Right. Then Motor On and Poet's Corner. Keelby Cavalier is still the back marker. And Gav's Delight and Colin Magna still making it as they race towards the 4th of the 8 flights. Gav's Delight from Bob Tisdall and Winart. Then Townley Stone has made good ground on the outside. Stray Shots right there, with also Brown's Gazette not far behind him, and then Fields Right and Beachcourt Lad. And a faller there, Bob Tisdall, Bob Tisdall has gone at that one, and Gav's Delight in the lead from Dermot Brown on Brown's Gazette. Then comes Stray Shot. Behind Stray Shot is Winart. Then comes Townley Stone on the outside. Then Motor On. Then Poets Corner. Then Herbert United. Then Beachcourt Lad. And then Feels Right. Then comes Far Rockaway, making a little bit of progress towards the outside. Racing towards the top of the hill now. 3 left to jump. And as they begin the run downhill, it's Gav's Delight still in the lead from Brown's Gazette. Then Townley Stone, who moves into 3rd. Stray Shot is 4. Then comes Motor On. Behind Motor On is Poets Corner on the outside with Herbert United still well there. Nor Prince is making good ground also. Coming to the 3rd last, Gav's Delight. And Gav's Delight a faller at the 3rd last. He's left Brown's Gazette in the lead from Townley Stone in 2nd. Then in 3rd is Herbert United, very close. Then comes Motor On. Then Poets Corner as they come down to the 2nd last. Brown's Gazette in the lead from Herbert United and Townley Stone. Brown's Gazette landed in the lead there from Townley Stone in 2nd. Herbert United 3rd, and it's Brown's Gazette in the lead from Townley Stone and Herbert United as they come to the final flight in the Waterford Crystal Supreme Novices Hurdle. Brown's Gazette and Dermot Brown is well clear, looking as though he's only going to jump it. Brown's Gazette jumps the last, gets away from it fast. Townley Stone jumps it next. Kilby Cavalier is making tremendous ground from the rear of the field, but it's Brown's Gazette under pressure as Kilby Cavalier still makes ground. Townley Stone is in 2nd, but racing up towards the line. Brown's Gazette's going to win it well at the line. Brown's Gazette is the winner in 2nd, Kilby Cavalier in 3rd. It's Townley Stone, and 4th was Nor Prince. Then came Herbert United, and behind them Motor On, and behind Motor On was Cheeky Run and Poets Corner and Beachcourt Lad and Feels Right, and behind them Stray Shot, and then Far Rockaway and Ridgefield and Hillbilly, and last was Winart. And so the result of the Waterford Crystal Supreme Novices Hurdle first, number 4, Brown's Gazette, owned by Mr. Dermot Brown and Mr. John Poynton, trained by Michael Dickinson and ridden by Mr. Dermot Brown. 2nd was number 10, Kilby Cavalier, owned by Mrs. J.M. Durrant, trained by Mick Lambert at Malton and ridden by Tony Chelton. And 3rd was number 18, Townley Stone, owned by Mr. Mike Townley, trained by John Webber and ridden by Graham McCourt. 4th was number 12, Nor Prince. So the first Irish triumph in this Waterford Crystal Supreme, the first English triumph, I should say, with, of course, an Irishman winning it nevertheless. Dermot Brown on his own horse, Brown's Gazette. Here he is with the runner-up upsides, and here's how he won it as we review the closing stages with Richard Pittman.
Well, we'll never know if the fall of Gav's Delight at this hurdle makes any difference, but the way the winner won, I'd say not. Gav's Delight in front with Colin Magner, gets in close. It looked to be all right, didn't it, for a stride, but then I'm afraid he pays the price. And Dermot Brown managing to miss him on the inside berth there, but at this stage a whole host of horses in with half a chance, but none going better than the one in the lead there. Getting the shortest way round. Remember that Dermot Brown owns half of this horse. He's already sold half, covered his expenses, and what a valuable horse he'd be now. So looming up, you can see in 2nd place there is Herbert United, the best of the Irish at this point. Motor On not far behind in 5th place, but Townley Stone suddenly looks the danger. Dermot has a look over his shoulder, but he knows that there's very little danger indeed. Graham McCourt getting after Townley Stone, and Kilby Cavalier 4th at this stage and not really making any significant progress. But what a lovely feeling it must be for Dermot. He's going for his 3rd amateur title and just 1 hurdle to go. And what a clean jump. I wonder how good this horse is going to be. And how sweet for Michael Dickinson after coming to the meeting last year with the odds-on favourite Delius and suffering such a reverse. This time it augurs well for the whole meeting for him. And just watch as Dermot Brown waves to the crowd. Has a look round. He's really delighted with himself, isn't he? I'm not sure if his boss will be quite so delighted. I think he must have half of his relations over here. But it's a very clear-cut victory. And the first 3 home for England. That makes a change.
And the news that Colin Magner got up on his feet quite quickly after that shocking-looking fall on Gav's Delight, but I didn't see P.J. Finn, who fell with Bob Tisdall out in the country. I didn't see P.J. rise. So he's actually just been helped into an ambulance. We can only hope that after this, his first ever ride at Cheltenham, he's not too badly shaken. Dermot Brown receiving the congratulations of his many supporters here. Brown's Gazette, the 11-2 winner, number 23 of the season for Dermot, and number 67 for his boss, Michael Dickinson. Brown's Gazette by London Gazette out of Austrian Girl. She's by Vienna. Seldom seen an easier winner in the end of this Waterford Crystal Supreme. Since the chairman of Waterford Glass, Paddy McGrath, is in St Vincent's Hospital, doubtless looking in, an opportunity, Paddy, to wish you a very swift recovery. I'm sure it's mortifying for you to have to miss this great meeting for the first time. And clearly a very popular triumph. And the full starting prices as follows.
First, number 4, Brown's Gazette, 11-2. Second, number 10, Kilby Cavalier, 50-50 to 1. And third, number 18, Townley Stone, 100 to 30 favourite. First, Brown's Gazette, 11-2. Second, Kilby Cavalier, 50 to 1. And third, Townley Stone, 100 to 30 favourite. The jackpot number there was 104.
Here we go then. And the Festival 2022 roars into life with the Sky Bet Supreme Novices Hurdle, and Dysart Dynamo has gone off very sharply to the first, and he's already strung the field out by about 10 lengths. So it's Dysart Dynamo in the blue and yellow, pressured for the early lead by John Bon in the J.P. McManus hoops, and the leading duo have gone bounding 3 or 4 lengths clear of Constitution Hill in the white jacket, who heads the pursuit. There's a further 3-length break to Mighty Potter, red and white silks, who drops into 4th, and then Kilcrut in a green sleeve jacket, Silent Revolution in the blue and yellow sitting towards midfield ahead of JPR1 in the black and yellow, and out on the left Shall We Have One More with the white cap, and Bring On the Night is the early back marker, and Dysart Dynamo leads them at the second. Gets in tight to it, rather bunny hopped his way over it, and John Bon up the inner was more fluent as they turn to meet rising ground and make the fairly lengthy run now between flights 2 and 3. So Dysart Dynamo back in front, leading the Sky Bet Supreme field to John Bon, sitting now a couple of lengths away. Constitution Hill in third under Nico de Boinville is a bit closer to the leading pair. There's a break of a couple of lengths to Mighty Potter, being shadowed by Kilcrut. A further 2 lengths away to Silent Revolution in the blue and yellow on the inner of JPR1. And Shall We Have One More is the shadow to Bring On the Night as they head across the far side and on towards the third. So the free-going Dysart Dynamo leading John Bon, and much more fluent there, Dysart Dynamo. JPR1 midfield just clipping the top. And relatively short run on now towards the 4th. Dysart Dynamo over 2 lengths ahead to the Henderson pair of John Bon and Constitution Hill, who are giving chase. There's a 4-length break to Mighty Potter, and then Kilcrut being followed by JPR1 and Shall We Have One More. Bring On the Night and Silent Revolution has dropped to the tail of the field and is being niggled along. There'll still be about 10, maybe 12 lengths covering the field as they head steadily towards the halfway point in the Supreme, and it's Dysart Dynamo and Paul Townend leading John Bon and Aidan Coleman the white cap. Nico de Boinville has got Constitution Hill black cap a handy third, jumping well there. Mistake in 4th from Mighty Potter, comprehensively outlet by Kilcrut in the green sleeves who goes past him, and after that error Mighty Potter is very swiftly on. There retreat. Meanwhile, Silent Revolution has tailed off, eased off, and looks like pulling up, and Mighty Potter has dropped back to be last of those still going. So, top of the hill, they're about to freewheel on down now towards the third last, and it's Dysart Dynamo being joined on the inner by John Bon. Constitution Hill stalks them going smoothly in third. 5 or 6 lengths away to Kilcruit, then Bring on the Night with the yellow sleeves to Shall We Have One More in JPR1, and John Bon took over, and Dysart Dynamo crashes out and impedes Shall We Have One More. Dysart Dynamo is up, and now it's the Henderson pair who are left clear, heading towards 2 out. John Bon the white cap, black cap for Constitution Hill, who saunters alongside. The penultimate flight, Constitution Hill and John Bon, inseparable. They're 6 lengths ahead of Kilcruit, who's trying to gather them in back in third, but Constitution Hill sweeps majestically into the lead, rounding the final corner. He opens up by 4, 5, 6 lengths. John Bon is chasing his stablemate, but he's surely chasing in vain. Constitution Hill down towards the last in the Supreme, and he's over safely, and he's over clear, and it's a yawning gap back to John Bon and Kilcruit. It's first strike to Henderson, it's first strike to England in the colours of Michael Buckley. Constitution Hill, a class apart, wins the Supreme. John Bon, his stablemate, makes it a Henderson 1-2. Kilcruit is...
And they're away. Hunter's Joy this time. And Netherton, flame-proof in the centre, with Western Rose and Newgate and Laram right up there, and Prousto. And as they land over the first, flame-proof landed just in the lead from Laram. Just in behind them, Prousto over on the far side, Sweet September, Newgate towards the left of the picture as we see them. Double Bluff pulling with John Frankham, who's trying to settle him in behind Netherton. And as they come down towards the second flight, it's Laram in the lead from Sweet September and Flame-Proof, and then Hunter's Joy, and then Prousto and Netherton. Just behind them, Newgate and Lord Gulliver and Western Rose, and they're all safely over that with Baron Croft last. And it's Laram from Newgate and Sweet September and Prousto, closely grouped. Just in behind them come Hunter's Joy and Netherton and Lord Gulliver and Flame-Proof, and behind them Western Rose. Then comes Piccadilly Line and Double Bluff and Bootlaces, and then Golden Signet with Crowning Issue on his outside, and then Honeygah. And just to the outside of Honeygah is River Bell, and last is Baron Croft as they swing left-handed, with Prousto taking him along now from Newgate and Sweet September and Laram and Hunter's Joy on the outside, then Netherton. Then comes Flame-Proof and Western Rose and Lord Gulliver. Just in behind Lord Gulliver at the third is Double Bluff, and then Bootlaces and Golden Signet, and River Bell and Honeygah on the inside, and Crowning Issue behind him, Waterside, and last Baron Croft, who's getting tailed off at the moment as they run downhill with Prousto in the lead from Newgate and Sweet September, and Hunter's Joy on the outside, and Western Rose next, then Flame-Proof and Lord Gulliver and Golden Signet, and Netherton going up on the outside, with Laram next to him, and then Bootlaces and Piccadilly Line and Honeygah and River Bell. That was the fourth, and Baron Croft really some way behind him now. Prousto in the lead from Hunter's Joy, Sweet September on the near side, Netherton right up there on the outside as they run down to the next flight. This will be the fifth. And Prousto looks as though he's going to jump it in the lead at the fifth. Prousto from Sweet September, then Newgate on the outside, then Flame-Proof and Western Rose, and Netherton on the outside. Golden Signet's only just in behind the leaders. Honeygah got chopped off a little bit there. Double Bluff's improving a bit. And it's still Prousto in the lead from Newgate second, Sweet September. Then comes Netherton making ground on the outside. Flame-Proof is next, and then comes Golden Signet with Western Rose and Laram right there, and then Double Bluff. Then a little gap to Honeygah as they race to the top of the hill. 3 left to jump now, and it's Prousto being pressed by Newgate. Then comes Netherton, then Western Rose on the inside, then Double Bluff. Just in behind Double Bluff is Golden Signet, and then Flame-Proof. Golden Signet, the favourite, still going well within himself as they run down towards the third last. Prousto joined by Newgate. Golden Signet is next. Western Rose on the inside. Double Bluff improving on the outside. Netherton losing a little bit of ground. Bootlaces has come there with a good run. It was Prousteau there. Golden Signet. Double Bluff towards the outside. Western Rose going well on the inside as they come towards the second last now, spread across the course. Double Bluff, Prousteau, Newgate, Bootlaces, Golden Signet and Western Rose, and any one of those could win it. And as they jump this, it's Double Bluff on the outside now, Golden Signet on the inner, Bootlaces in between the two, then Western Rose, and Golden Signet strikes the front now. It's Golden Signet and Niall Madden now. Double Bluff under pressure. Western Rose and Bootlaces as they race into the closing stages. Golden Signet is clear from Western Rose second, Bootlaces and Double Bluff. Golden Signet over, striding up towards the line. Western Rose jumped it next, and then Bootlaces and Double Bluff. And as they race into the closing stages on the Waterford Crystal Supreme Novice Hurdle, it's Golden Signet striding away to score a comfortable triumph for Ireland. A really impressive victory this. Golden Signet strides to the line to win it well. A rapturous welcome for the unvanquished Golden Signet. Running in his 5th hurdle race of his career and successful for the 5th time. So I say 5 to 4 on, but there's Eddie O'Grady greeting him. Let's have a full rundown of the starting prices.
It's Golden Signet, 5 to 4 on favourite. Second, Western Rose, 11 to 2.
This, the first running of the Waterford Crystal Supreme Novice Hurdle, as I